Hello, hello, hello. I guess this is a prog review. Do you ever get the urge sometimes? You think, oh, I haven't heard this album in a long time. And you've not got it like digitally or anything. And then you go on eBay and you get the cheapest copy you can find. Do you ever have that? I had that recently with this record. For we are going back in time to the 28th of September 1987. Yes, and the 11th album by Mr. Michael Gordon Oldfield. It's Islands. Look, there's an island and there's hands. Hands. Again, you don't always get it. You kind of got to hold it in the light. See, like that, it doesn't really see it. But if you hold it like that, you can see the hands. It's kind of spooky. And there's Mikey Boy on the back. Now, God blimey, years and years ago, I had this on vinyl, and I think I probably paid about a couple of quid for it because it was in the bargain bin. That's funny because it wasn't I wouldn't say it was an unsuccessful album. Reached number 29 in the UK chart, and I think it was a gold selling record. Sold over 100,000 copies, so it's not that it was a failure per se. No, I don't think. Did the singles do any good? No. They released Islands, and that didn't just skim the UK chart. That's funny because. No, it didn't work either. Flying Start was released as a single too. God. So I'm getting off the subject. Yeah. So anyway, back in the day, so I'm just looking at the Wikipedia page. I got this in Woolworths in the bargain bucket on vinyl, and you play it, and it's an album of two sides, really, because. It's an album, like it's a vinyl album. It's got two sides. You flip it over, unless you got it on a CD, I guess. But yeah, it's very typical of the 1980s in terms of its production. It's got that kind of brittle crispness that that airless quality that you come to appreciate. The first side is actually divided into two parts, the Wind Chimes parts 1 and 2, which are an extended instrumental. And when you flip it over, we have songs, singy songs, indeed. It's 6 songs with guest vocalists. Blimey. So back to the other side. Starts off, the Wind Chimes part 1 is this. It starts off with this kind of very big, almost orchestral synthesizer piece. It's funny because when I was listening to it back today, because I actually listened to it, my goodness, it reminded me of, in terms of production and some of the themes, some of the instrumentation. Because the synthesizers, there's lots of synthesizers and samplers, I'd imagine. Certainly sounds that way. It reminded me of Anthony Phillips's Slow Dance, which I think was released in 1990? And in terms of production and intent, they feel very similar. Again, if you haven't heard the album, you don't know what I'm talking about. Go and check it out. Whereas that, you don't get any singy songs on. It's a fully instrumental record. But yeah, the Wind Chimes part 1, it starts off and then it breaks off into a 19-minute piece. And again, listening to it back, and I haven't heard this in a good few years, probably 30 years, because I got rid of my vinyl copy, and I've not gone back, well, till now. Cost me about just under £6 with delivery, so I was pretty pretty pleased with that, and it's not in bad nick. It's probably my original copy from Wars, just come back to me. Yeah, the second part of it has the same kind of manic, schizophrenic energy of Amarok. Yes, I was shocked by this. But whereas Amarok is feels a bit more organic, this you have more, of course, synthesizers, and there are various parts to it. You've got the pseudo panpipes bit, and they all seem to reference. Again, it feels like he's referencing himself. There are themes that come back and recur, and it feels connected. It feels like it doesn't necessarily feel like there are bits glued on until we get to the end, and you've got that pseudo Tubular Bells guitar riff that comes in, which again almost sounds like it's not only referencing Tubular Bells but kind of preempting, acting as a portent of Tubular Bells 2 to come. And again, at the time when I heard this, you don't get it because there was no Tubular Bells 2. It didn't come to a good few years later. So it was kind of fun listening to that again. And again, the strange thing about these records is when you put them on, you go, God, I know this record. I know this record really well. I couldn't whistle any of it, but I could probably whistle a little bit of it. The main theme, bit orchestral thing. But how it goes in, that's always weirds me out. It's like, oh God, yeah, I really do know this, because it's like meeting an old friend again, one you haven't seen for a long time. So that was enjoyable. Again, at the time, the Islands record was backed by a video cassette. I think was it called the Wind Chimes? I don't think it was called, but yeah, there was. Mike Oldfield had a video production studio, and I think he used stuff like Quantel. Again, Quantel was a video manipulation suite which BBC liked to use, and you could fold the picture up and turn it into a bottle or a glass or a bird that flew off the screen. It was at the time it was amazing, but when you look at it now, incredibly passe and cheesy, very 1980s. And yeah, it was like a video album, if I remember. I wonder if that was released on that DVD. Sorry, I'm just going off on a. Just going off onto a little. No, it wasn't. No. So I was just looking. There was a DVD collection. I think it was called Elements back in the day. But I don't think it included. I don't think the Wind Chimes pieces have ever been released on DVD. Might have been. Anyway, I'm babbling on. I've got distracted. I should have written notes, but I never do. But that's why you come here. You like my pedestrian, vague meanderings. Oh, to edit out all the gaps and the ums and the ahs and the air. So yeah, then you flip it over. Oh no. What happens if we flip it over? Like I said, there are 6 songs, and they're typical kind of Mike Oldfield, lyrical songs. And you have guest vocalists like Bonnie Tyler on the title track Islands. You gotta like those songs. Other than, I don't know, Moonlight Shadow. Come on, everyone likes Moonlight Shadow, and I only like Shadow on the Wall because what's his name, Chapman, sounds like he's gonna rupture something. Shadow on the wall, wow wow wow. Shadow on the wall, wow wow. And it just tickles me. It makes me laugh. But yeah, some of these are really kind of hokey. The best track on here is Flying Start, which features Kevin Ayers. Now, again, for those of you who don't know Kevin Ayers, go and check him out. He's really good. You know, I'm a big fan. And when he passed, I did a little tribute. To him, which is somewhere out in the ether. I don't know if it's on my music channel, on my other channel. But yeah, he provides the vocal on this, and again, it's a song that I really like. Flying star, ding 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 ding. But the lyrics are quite pointedly a little dig at Kevin Ayers' alcoholism, and Oldfield gets him to sing them. You know, and I always, again, I think it's a bit on the nose, but I really like the song, and I really like Kevin Ayers' vocal delivery. I think he's just great, and it's a shame he went, and it's a shame he didn't have more recognition and success. And for me, that's the best track on here. We also have Jim Price, Anita Hegerland. She does a couple of the tracks on here as well. Time Has Come, North Point, and she seems to be like, again, a bit of a generic kind of Mike Oldfield female vocalist. You know, it's like, yeah. And yeah, she was with him for a while because they were an item, weren't they? They have children together. She appears on quite a few of his records. Earth Moving. Yeah. Who remembers Earth Moving? That was a stinker. So yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a stink fest, the second side, unless you like the Mike Oldfield singy songs. I don't, and it's also hamstrung by that awful 80s production, which is very shiny and very airless and very clinical. You know, it was 87. But it was kind of fun just to pick it up again, you know. That's just, yeah, it was like an urge. It was like, you know, it's like going back, you know, seeing an old girlfriend or something. Not that I've ever had an old girlfriend. There we go. Should we pretend to be interested in the vinyl? There's the lyrics if you want to sing along. And there's a picture of Mike, looking a bit unemployed, looking a bit doleful on the back there. So yeah, again, it's and what I find curious is it says recorded with Dolby SR spectral recording, the master tape. Ooh, do you remember when you used to see things like that on records and CDs and tapes, and you go, "Oh, I wonder what that means. Will it make it better? Will it make it even better?" So yeah, that's my review. Was it a review, or was it me just talking about stuff? I don't know. What do I think of it? Is it a good Mike Oldfield album? I like bits of it. I like bits of the Wind Chimes, and I like Flying Start. And some of it is just utterly cheesy, like, you know, Magic Touch and North Point are just really kind of cheesy 80s Mike Oldfield songs. Again, which are fine if you want to go back in time and be transported back to a different time. In the Oldfield, you know, pantheon, where does it sit? My goodness, where does it sit? I mean, it's better than Earth Moving. It's better than Man on the Rocks. You know, but it's not as good as, you know, I don't know, Crisis. Yeah, I think that sounds about right. So yeah, it's an interesting one. I think one that's kind of overlooked. I don't think it's been. Again, we kind of missed out. Oldfield's reissue campaign kind of ended. This was the next one. This album was meant to be like the next one in the sequence, and because we did the Killing Fields, that was the last reissue of his studio records. and Islands, Earth Moving, Amarok, and beyond that. It never happened. It just died back in 20. I don't know, when would it have been? When was the last time it was reissued? I don't know. 2016 was the last lot of reissues. So since then, we had Return to Omadorn. Nothing, and it's all kind of gone quiet, which is a bit of a shame. I know we're celebrating like the 50th anniversary this year of Tubular Bells, so would it be an even bigger box set? Would it be, who knows? Who knows? But anyway, I've been talking about Islands, an oft overlooked record by that there Mike Oldfield, Mr. Michael Oldfield. I wonder what he's doing. I wonder what's going on. Check it out. I'm sure it's available somewhere to stream or not. And yeah, a bit of a peculiarity. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. That's that. There's only one more thing left to say. And by now you should know what that is. And that is Prog on.